Good evening, dear friends. 17th Lunar Futki, and this means your favorite YouTube almanac is on the air. Today, something will happen that will change your life before and after watching this video. You will never be the same, because today, your posture will change in such a way. And from a hunched, unattractive person, an office worker, or a man in line, you will turn into a man with a proud posture at the entrance, who, when entering any room, people will turn around and look at him and be amazed. Nothing to himself, what a posture he has. Perfect seems like? Yes, definitely perfect. And you will have such cases happening in the city, and maybe even in the regions you live. So, it doesn't matter, friends. Today our task is to restore your ideal posture. My task, and your task is just to do what I show and get the result you deserve. How are we going to do this? I can already see your eyes questioning the readiness to exercise. A pleasant appetite has arisen. Everyone eating can still do so. Because first I will tell you what we will do. You can continue to enjoy your bashin or whatever you eat this time. But before we do all this with you, your task is to evaluate the result and be delighted with it and make 2 photos before and after. That is, it is important to photograph yourself on your phone, straight like this, you and your profile side. Do these before and after photos. And you can post in the comments also to show everyone how much your assessment has changed and how much you liked all this. Also, do not be shy. Write in the comments and other people can read this for motivation. And also those who didn't get anything, they also have, of course, the right to write, but no one is interested in their opinion. We are more interested in those who did it, got an excellent result, because they did it. And those who don't do it, of course, they won't get anything. That's why we're going to do it together now. So, friends, our spine, together with you, relies on several factors for everything to be well with us. First, the vertebrae must be sufficiently mobile because if we attempt to straighten vertebral joints between immobile vertebrae, they will lose mobility and become too stiff. We won't be able to achieve this. Therefore, first, we need the mobility of the vertebrae. Second, we need muscles that will move these vertebrae, positioning and holding this entire bone structure made of bones and bone marrow in the correct and optimal alignment. Thirdly, it is necessary for all this to work in motion, because although we spend a large part of our lives sitting or lying down, sometimes we have to stand up, sometimes we have to go somewhere. And therefore, it is very important that all this works in dynamics. All this does not fall apart, so that maintaining balance and not falling, all our muscles worked like a well-coordinated mechanism, as if your brain gives commands to your muscles, and as if the muscles obediently listen and do what they want. And thirdly, it is necessary for all this to work automatically, so that you do not have to monitor your own posture. That is, your posture is how you relax, sit down, or stand up, and that's how the muscles will hold. If you have to strain additionally, for example, to connect the shoulder blades there, and you think that this is correct, you are mistaken, you are greatly mistaken. And this is a mistake, this is a mistake. So friends, to avoid falling into this trap, the so-called trap of correct posture, we will do with you so that all these, so your muscles work by themselves and you do not follow them. Because if you specifically want to strain some muscle and straighten up, you will strain it excessively, and after some time it will get tired, and you will not be able to maintain this position, and in the end, you will return to your usual position. And our task with you is to make it all work by itself, without distracting you from more important things. So, friends, what gives us, what holds us, which muscles hold us in the optimal position? And which muscles are the least developed? Why do problems with posture arise? What are some muscles that we practically do not use in everyday life? Which muscles are these? First of all, these are the muscles that are located here on our back. This is the rhomboid muscle. Write it down in the comments so you don't forget. Write it down immediately, then there will be a whole outline and you can read it to each other, friends. The second one is the trapezius muscle. Let's divide it into 3 parts right away. This is the lower, middle, and upper trapezius. The rhomboid covers the top. Some will incorrectly claim it's the widest. The widest muscle doesn't have much significance in supporting the posture. Perhaps you've seen people with the largest muscles coming out of the gym, and they walk like this, their hands immediately tucked under the barbell. But the largest muscle has a huge volume, but it doesn't hold their spine. So cross out the largest muscle, it's not needed. The largest muscle, it's needed in principle for you to climb trees, to jump from branch to branch. It will come in handy, but it's not so important for life. It's important, but now for us it doesn't matter for our posture. Without it, we will successfully form it. The third muscle is the spine flexor. This is a collective name for the muscles that are located along the spine. Well, in general. And the third or fourth is the neck flexor. Also can't do without it. And we will also connect it to our exercise today. So, moving on, the next muscle, some third one, is the pectoral, the small pectoral muscle, and above it, the large pectoral muscle. They have opposing functions. Very often, since most of our actions are performed in front of us, we rarely use our hands behind our backs. This limited range of body movements mostly involves our hands working forward, causing the pectoral muscles to develop more tone and volume, and to become significantly stronger than the muscles between the shoulder blades. Therefore, our shoulder blade changes its position. It shifts forward. So, friends, well, it's time to figure out all these muscles and with the mobility of the spine. And we will start you exactly with movement, because first we need to make it so that our spine moved back like this, curled up, so that the muscles could then move it and move it. So, now, if you've finished eating, if you haven't had time, put it on pause, eat everything normally, calmly, don't rush. We'll start doing the same exercise. I'll wait. So friends, watch the mechanism of action itself. What are we going to do? Here's the roller we're going to use on it like this. We're going to lie down. The place where the top of the bend is in our brown department of the vertebrae is approximately the lower edge of the shoulder blades, plus minus a few centimeters. Nothing scary if you make a mistake. Here you are. So you're lying down. And first we'll just lie with you so that the vertebrae takes the position it hasn't taken for a long time. We'll stretch some ligaments, some muscles, and in this position we'll lie with you so that the vertebrae, of course, doesn't straighten up as much as we do, but so that it can move. That is, the position that our vertebrae takes is average between 2 positions. The muscles can do but understood in short what I meant. Most likely, if not, then in the next video, I'll explain it. So look, we took the roller, we lay on it, we put our hands behind our head and start to make a movement back with the head, trying to reach from the back of the head to the floor. In this way, we develop the mobility of our spine, return its flexibility, return its health and youth. We restore the mobility of each vertebra so that everything gets better and better. Everything has become easier for us if the height is too high. If you feel any discomfort during the movement, make the roller lower. Gradually increase it by a notch. Well, friends, now you will like it more. Where you don't need to strain, here we already need a softer roller, smaller in size. We lie on it again, raise our hands here upwards, and just lie down. And lie and rest for about 2 to 5 minutes. If the elbows do not lie down, you can wiggle your hands. You can put it behind your head like this, if you also feel some discomfort. Also adjust the height of the roller so that there is no discomfort anywhere, neither in the shoulder joints nor in the spine. And so you will lie down from 2 to 5 minutes in this way. Just relax. But still, you may and should feel a slight tension, strain and stretch in the spine. So friends, that was our second exercise. We've slightly restored your spine mobility with you, and now we're moving on to loading the muscles themselves. And here we will load them with you in such a way that our muscles between the shoulder blades work and at the same time the chest muscles relax. For this, look, take a rubber band, not necessarily one with holes, any will do. Raise your hands to the level of your shoulders and start to stretch it out like this. Spread and try to touch your shoulder blades together as much as you can. We do 10 such movements. 9, 10. That's the first one. You can do 2 sets. Take a breath, wait 10 seconds, and then repeat the second movement. Look down, place your hands here, and from this lower position, start the movement towards the middle of your chest. This is where the movement begins and ends. Keep your hands at shoulder level, maintaining this position, and finish here, keeping your shoulder blades steady. In the second movement, you'll work more on the upper part of the trapezius. Again, do 2 sets, mastering 10 repetitions. If it's too difficult or the resistance band is too strong, do fewer repetitions, but choose a band that allows you to complete 10 reps comfortably. The third exercise starts from the top, and you perform the same movement downwards. The final position is the same in all 3 exercises, each targeting different parts of the trapezius muscle. And in conclusion, we give the most powerful load. We stretch the rubber wider than the shoulders, but the hands remain slightly bent. And here, you make a movement towards yourself, maintaining the tension of the rubber, while trying to connect the blades as much as possible, and then the movement forward, again towards yourself and forward. Here the muscles between the shoulder blades are powerfully very strained. The rhomboid, the middle, upper, lower trapezius, all 3 at once. And at the same time, all these muscles that do not work in our everyday life get a load. When you sit, when you lie, when you stand, it all weakens all the time. So friends, we gave the load, and now, especially for those who watched up to this point, 2 secret ways of how to monitor your posture: standing, sitting, and lying. Look. Pay attention to the position of your hands. When you stand, if your hand is turned forward with the back of your hand and the elbow is looking to the side, then you will never be able to use those muscles that we have just trained with you. They will always be relaxed, because in this hand position, your palm shifts forward with your shoulder. When the elbow is looking to the side, there is no way these muscles can start working. Therefore, pay attention to the position of your hands. Train yourself to where the position is when you stand, your thumb is looking forward, and your elbow is looking back. This is the first. And the second. Here we have a little coffee shop. It's called the anterior superior axis of the subaxial bone. If your hand happens to be in front of this bone, your shoulder will automatically also tend to be in front. So your task is simply when you stand, first you need to learn, pay attention so that your thumb is always behind this bone, not going forward. If it has moved forward, then your shoulder will follow here. If you try to straighten your back at the same time, you will get nothing but strain. Here in your lower back, you won't achieve anything. Therefore, only by following the position of your hands, you already make these muscles be in the necessary tone. But since we spend a lot of time sitting with you, we have to do this, because it's uncomfortable to eat standing up. That's why we also need to know how to keep these muscles toned while sitting. Look, the closer my knee is to yours, the harder it will be for me to maintain the correct position of the spine because my shoulder starts to move forward. So, I'm sitting here, you see, my shoulder is forward, and no matter how hard I try to straighten my back, it won't work. And if my hands are on the table on the armrest, it also won't work. Because in this position, the shoulder has already moved forward and the muscles between the shoulder blades can't work. So when I sit, I need to make sure that my wrist is also closer to this same point, the upper front axis of the pubic bone. Look how the position of the hand changes. When I change the position of the wrist, here my elbow goes back and automatically my shoulder also moves back. If the hand goes forward, the shoulder also moves forward. So, if you just sit, learn to sit in such a way that your hands are closer. Here, to this bone. And if you have to do something with your hands for a long time, ideally, everything you do with your hands should not be further than the middle of your thigh. Because if you do something with your hands here, you see, the shoulder will also move forward unusually. Doing tasks closer to your body makes it easier for your back muscles to function. This is the second trick especially for you, and the third bonus one, especially for those who subscribed and liked or left a couple of comments under this video. The rest turn off, don't even watch. Especially don't watch. The secret method of the wall is already needed for this. Okay, this will do. I approach the wall, stand in such a way that my thumbs are completely against the wall, and here, look what I do. I need to have a ledge between the wall and my stomach, regardless of the size of my stomach. Here is the ledge, and here, between the chest and the wall, there are already two ledges. If you become that, most likely, you will have such a position. You will be too close to the wall. The closer your chest is to the wall, the more your center of gravity is shifted to the front of the foot, to the toes of the foot. If there is a distance between the wall and the chest, automatically some of the load slightly shifts to the abdominal muscles. If you shift forward, the back muscles will be strained, but not the ones needed, but the lower back muscles. Here, thanks to your abdomen, you will be sitting. If this is problematic, there is another way. Look, when you sit on your sit bones. If you lean forward, shift forward, sit on the front part of the bone, you will lean on the thigh. Here too the spine will strain, and if you lean back a little, you will feel the tension of the abdomen, and your task is to learn to sit in such a way that your abdomen works more for training. You can deliberately lean back and forth, then slightly return and keep the position with the abdomen tense. You can change these positions, that is, shift the load either to the abdomen or to the spine. Pay attention that when your abdomen works more, you have more mobility here. When the spine is working, you can turn less here. So, friends, this is information for you to think about. Well, friends, I'm waiting for your photos in the comments before and after doing these exercises, and also the delighting ones. Also in the comments. Do you get new broadcasts now? Do sports and help your parents.